Hey, I'm Brittany Gunderson, and today I would like to talk about all things self-esteem. Um, I want to talk about the physical preparation of self-esteem. I want to talk about the concepts of self-esteem, what is self-esteem, how it develops, and then I want to do a self-esteem checklist so you can see where you stand in your self-esteem. So we have a lot to cover in this episode. It's going to be my longest one, actually. So let me get comfortable. Um, should have done this before the filming, but I'm human, so. Okay. First, I want to state that I've taken a long time to develop self-esteem. I'm still struggling. I still have self-esteem issues, but I'm working on them and I'm learning and I'm studying. And I'm starting with the Self-Esteem Workbook by Glenn Schiraldi, which is where I'm getting my information that I just learned. And as I learn information, I share it with you guys. So you guys can learn and grow and become healthier and happier and better. So this is the Self-Esteem Workbook by Glenn Schiraldi. It is great. He is a wonderful author. I love this book. And it has taught me so much. And I hope that what I learned I can teach you. So, I'm going to start with the physical preparation of self-esteem. Sorry, I do have to use notes. I'm quite new at this whole self-esteem business. So I will be reading from my notes, but I hope that you can learn as I am, and I will learn along with you. So that's why I'm here, to help. The physical preparation of self-esteem. What you want to do before you even try to develop self-esteem or learn about self-esteem is quite a few things, actually. The mind and body are connected, so if you want to feel better mentally, then take good care of your body. Now, how do we take good care of our body? Well, you want to get exercise. You want to get aerobic exercise, and you want to aim for at least 30 minutes a day. Walking is also very good, and you want to walk for 30 minutes a day as well. It's great for weight management. It improves self-esteem and general mental health. It is excellent for weight management and sleep improvement. So it has many good benefits. Walking daily for 30 minutes can be very effective for weight loss and stress management. Even a 10-minute power walk or a brisk walk can increase energy and lift your mood. The next way to take care of your body is get adequate sleep. Most adults need 8 hours of sleep per night. But not only that, we tend to get 8 hours of sleep through the week, but then sleep in more during the weekends, or we end up getting 5 hours of sleep a week and sleep extra in the weekends. That's not good either. Not only do you want to aim for 8 hours of sleep per night, you want to aim for 8 hours of sleep per every night, including weekdays and weekends, because regular sleep and wake-up times are needed to keep the body's sleep cycle consistent. Going to bed at irregular hours, it can lead to exhaustion and sleep disorders. So keep your weekend sleep times the same as your weekday sleep times. That's very important. Now, the final way to take good care of your body is your eating habits. Visualize a plate where the meat is a small side dish and the rest of your plate is full of fruits and vegetables. That is what you want to aim for. That is what is considered healthy. A little bit of meat, and then the rest, like you got your plate like this, or like this. We'll say this is your plate. You want about this much meat and this much vegetables. That's a good eating goal. Overall, take care of your body by eating well, sleeping regularly, and exercising often. Simple, right? Sometimes it's not. And I've been there, so I know. But try to incorporate those into your life and go from there. So that being said, where does self-esteem come from? Well, according to Glenn Schiraldi, it comes from our parents. And depending on if our parents had good self-esteem or not so good self-esteem, that depends on what we get. Or also depending on how our parents treated us, depends on if we get to build self-esteem or we don't. So, children and self-esteem. Children with self-esteem tend to have parents who model self-esteem. These parents consistently are loving toward their children, express interest in the child's life and their friends. They give time and encouragement. Parents of children with self-esteem have high standards and expectations, but the expectations are clear, reasonable, consistent, and given with support and encouragement. The disciplinary style is democratic, meaning the child's opinions and individuality are respected, but the parents make the final decisions on important matters. The parents give messages that say, I trust you, but I also recognize that you are not perfect. Still, I love you, and therefore will take time to guide you, set limits, discipline you, and expect the best of you because I believe in you and value you. These messages are far different from the distrust conveyed by the authoritarian parent or the lack of caring conveyed by the permissive parent. An authoritarian parent is often aggressive, sometimes violent, abusive, mean. They say hateful things to get their children to behave. They threaten to tear up their stuff, or they do a lot of stuff that can cause distrust. The permissive parent tends to spend time avoiding her children or his children by reading, zoning them out, tuning them out, getting on Facebook, playing on your phone all day, stuff like that. Just letting the kids go and do whatever they want and just not really caring what they do. That is a permissive parent. Permissive parents and authoritarian parents are polar opposites, whereas the democratic parents are in the middle. So you've got your authoritarian parents and you got your permissive parents, and then you got your democratic parents in the middle. You want to aim for the middle. So, that being said, let's go over what is self-esteem. Let me just get to my notes. Self-esteem is a realistic, appreciative opinion of oneself. Realistic means accurate and honest. Appreciative means positive feelings and liking. So therefore, if you have self-esteem, you have positive feelings about yourself, you like yourself, but you're realistic and honest about your flaws and also where you stand. So, self-esteem is between self-defeating shame and self-defeating pride. So you have self-defeating shame, self-defeating pride, and self-esteem. Again, you'll want to aim for the middle. Okay, let me explain. People with self-defeating pride are trying to be more than human. They are arrogant and narcissistic, which means that they think they are better and more important than others as a person. Self-defeating pride is often rooted in insecurity. So the self-defeating pride people, they are arrogant and they think they're better than everybody, but really they're very insecure inside. And I'm sure we all know somebody who is like that. People with self-defeating shame or self-defeating humility believe that they are less than human. They view themselves as the dust of the earth or less than others. They hold an unrealistic and unappreciative opinion of themselves. So they think that they're not as good as everybody else. And I'll admit to you guys that I had self-defeating shame, self-defeating humility, and now I'm learning to have self-esteem. So I can relate very well to the people who feel like they're not good enough. But let me tell you this, you are. Don't forget that. Now, people with self-esteem believe they are neither more or less than human. Knowing their faults and rough edges, they still are deeply and quietly glad to be who they are. They recognize the goodness, excellence, and potential that coexist alongside of imperfections. They view others as equals, neither above nor below them, but on the same level. So, although we all have imperfections, we all have goodness in us. And when you have self esteem, you can see your imperfections, you can see your goodness. You can see where you need to improve, but also realize that your worth is golden. You have good worth, you have good values. That's what I want for all of you guys, to be able to develop self esteem along with me. So that's why I do this. Now, I'm going to go over the concepts of self-esteem so everybody can get a real good feeling for self-esteem and find out exactly what it is. The concepts related to self-esteem are as follows: identity, appreciation, acceptance, self-confidence, pride, and humility. And then there's a little section at the end about selfishness. But do not confuse it. Selfishness is not self-esteem. Okay. So identity. Who am I? What defines me and my essential character? Identity is a sense of oneself and one's individuality. Okay. Appreciate means to think well of, to value, and to enjoy, to recognize gratefully, to rightly estimate the quality of or worth of someone or something. Yeah. So, accept is to receive favorably and with pleasure, approve, believe in, respond to favorably. Self-acceptance is believing in oneself and receiving oneself favorably and with pleasure. One may accurately acknowledge one's weaknesses, be determined to improve, and still accept oneself. I acknowledge my faults. I love myself, though not necessarily all of my behaviors. As I improve my behaviors, then I can feel good about me and my behavior. Self-confidence. A belief in one's abilities related to competence and self-efficiency. As one's competence increases, one's confidence increases. A belief in oneself as a person leading to a general sense of, I can do it. Because anyone can do just about anything given the time, practice, experience, resources, etc. Why can't I? I may not succeed completely or quickly, but the direction will be desirable. Demonstrating competence is satisfying, but it is an outgrowth of self-worth, not a way to establish it. Competence and confidence correlate with self-esteem, but they are not the cause of self-esteem. If we base feelings of worth on competence and achievements, then if we fail, we also lose our worth. So you don't want to do that. Pride. There are two sides of pride as it relates to self-esteem. There's self-defeating pride and healthy pride. Self-defeating pride is the attitude that one is superior, more valuable, or more important as a person than others. Such people perceive themselves as more capable, self-sufficient, or infallible than they actually are. They are conceited, arrogant, vanity, narcissism, selfish, grandiose sense of self, exploitive. They exploit themselves. And self-defeating pride is typically rooted in fear, as in the fear of being vulnerable and the need to defend oneself. So, as I discussed earlier, the self-defeating pride, they think they're better than everybody else, but really they're afraid. So, healthy pride is a realistic sense of one's own dignity or worth. Self-respect, gratitude, and delight in one's achievements, talents, service, or membership membership meaning in their family, in their race, in their gender, etc. Okay, so we all want to aim for healthy pride. Humility. There are two sides to humility: self-defeating humility and healthy humility. Self-defeating humility is an abject lack of self-respect, like considering yourself the dust of the earth, spineless submissiveness, and contemptibility. Healthy humility involves an absence of self-defeating pride, the recognition of one's imperfections or weaknesses, consciousness of one's own shortcomings, and ignorance. They are teachable. It is realization that all are of equal worth. Healthy humility relates to a positive sense of meek behavior, meaning mild, patient, and not easily stirred to anger. So I want to explain this. We have healthy pride, healthy humility, and all that is part of self-esteem. So self-esteem is in the middle. Then we have self-defeating humility and self-defeating pride. We want self-esteem, so we want healthy humility, healthy pride. Healthy humility and healthy pride coexist in the person with self-esteem. Humility because one realizes how much one still has to learn, and pride in recognizing the dignity and worth one shares with all other humans. The last one is the selfishness. Some mistakenly equate selfishness with self-esteem. The purpose of self-esteem is to transcend the self. Self-consciousness is a painful situation that keeps one's focus inward. Healing the pain with love enables one's focus to expand outward, making one more free to love others and enjoy life. Someone with self-esteem loves by choice from a secure base. So, building self-esteem warrants our best efforts. So we have covered all of the basics of self-esteem, where it comes from, what it is, the concepts, and all that. What I want for everybody is to be able to see where their self-esteem lies and see how to improve it. So in this one, we're going to see where your self-esteem lies. Give me a moment and I will find, it's actually, I believe it's page 7, as I thought. This is the self-esteem checkup. It is a bunch of questions and it's based on ratings. So after this video, I'm gonna do the self-esteem checkup by itself. So when you come back, you don't have to listen to all the self-esteem information unless you want to. I will have a separate video to redo all this. So that way in a week, 2 weeks, or a month, when you want to check on your self-esteem, where it lies, you can always come back to my page and see. So the self-esteem checkup. There are 12 statements, and each statement you want to rate 0 to 10. 0 means you completely disbelieve it. You don't believe it at all. 10 means that you think it is completely true. To you, it is 100% true. That is 10. So, depending on how you feel about each statement, that's what you write down. So, get your pen and paper ready, and let's start on this. 12 statements in all. The first statement is, I am a worthwhile person. Second statement, I am as valuable as a person as anyone else. Third statement, I have the qualities I need to live well. Fourth statement, when I look into my eyes in the mirror, I have a pleasant feeling. Statement 5, I don't feel like an overall failure. 6, I can laugh at myself. Statement 7, I am happy to be me. 8, I like myself even when others reject me. 9, I love and support myself regardless of what happens. 10, I am generally satisfied with the way I am developing as a person. 11, I respect myself. 12. I'd rather be me than someone else. That's 1 through 12. So, what I would like for you to do now is add up all them numbers of the ratings that you have and rate your self-esteem on the following scale. 0 to 100, where it falls in. 0 is a total lack of self-esteem, and 10 is total fullness of self-esteem. So you will probably be somewhere in the middle. And, determine where you're at, jot down a number. And then the next time you do this, in a few weeks or next week or a month, whenever you want to do it again to see if you made progress or regressed, you can always compare your numbers. The next question. How often do you feel restricted in your daily activities because of difficulties with self-esteem? 1, always. 2, often. 3, sometimes. 4, rarely. And 5, never. Go ahead and write that number down that applies to you. And again, you can refer to my other video or this video again and see if it changes in the future. Again, how often do you feel restricted in your daily activities because of difficulties with self-esteem? 1, always. 2, often. 3, sometimes. 4, rarely. And 5, never. And the final question. How serious is your problem with self-esteem? 1, no problem. 2, mild problem. 3, moderate problem. 4, severe problem. 5, extremely severe problem. And 6, totally incapacitating problem. Now, I'll admit to you guys, about a year ago, I was a 6, totally incapacitated with my self-esteem. I couldn't do anything, couldn't go anywhere. I just stayed home. I didn't do anything. Now, I am at a 3, which is a moderate problem because I'm working on it, and you can too. So again, how serious is your problem with self-esteem? 1, no problem. 2, mild problem. 3, moderate problem. 4, severe problem. 5, extremely severe problem. And 6, totally incapacitating. Now, next time you do this, you can see if it changes. There is one more thing I would like to share with you guys out of this book. It is a bunch of quotes, which I honestly haven't read yet. So I'm going to go through them with you for the first time. So that's going to be exciting. These are quotes called Reflections on Unconditional and Equal Human Worth. We are equal inhabitants of a paradise of individuals in which everybody has the right to be understood. That is by Richard Rorty, 1991. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's in the Declaration of Independence, July 4th, 1776. We are all basically the same human beings who seek happiness and try to avoid suffering. Everybody is my peer group. Your feeling I am of no value is wrong, absolutely wrong, and that is by the Dalai Lama. You're as good as anybody, spoken to Martin Luther King by his father. You're as good as anyone, but you're no better than anyone, and don't forget it, spoken to legendary coach John Wooden by his father. All men are alike when asleep, Aristotle. We are made in the image of God, a good God, a God of beauty. God declared his creation good. Rebecca Manley Pippert, 1999. God is good, isn't he? We need to see ourselves as basic miracles. Virginia Satir. Men can be human with human frailties and still be great. Stephen Richards. That's a good one. That's from 1955. Heroes don't need Letterman jackets. We know who we are. And that's Evel Knievel. Letting circumstances or others determine worth gives them inappropriate control and power. How very true is that? And that's anonymous. When our value as human beings depends on what we make with our hands and minds, we become victims of the fear tactics of our world. When productivity is our main way of overcoming self-doubt, we are extremely vulnerable to rejection and criticism and prone to inner anxiety and depression. Henry Nouwen, 1989. Henry J. M. Nouwen. Nouwen. Sorry. Problems are weaknesses which respond to strengthening, not illnesses which need removal of the agents that cause them. William Glasser. Every cliche you've ever heard about babies is true, it seems to me. They are soft and warm, fascinating, cute, and lovable. I never met one that wasn't, and it's a good thing too, because if babies weren't so cute and lovable, maybe we wouldn't so gladly put up with the fact that they're so demanding and so much trouble. Babies are pure potential. You pick up a little baby, and you're amazed by how light it is, but you feel also that you're holding the future, the earth and the sky, the sun and the moon, and all of it, everything, is brand new. Babies help us to put the changing world into perspective too. Changing the world has to wait when it's time to change the baby. That's funny. Charles Osgood. So I want to share those with you. Now, again, you can go ahead and pick up your own copy of this book that I'm teaching you, so you can learn yourself. It's the Self-esteem Workbook by Glenn Schiraldi. So I will do my best to relay the notes to you guys, but if you want to do it all yourself, go right ahead. So yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. I'm here to help. My email is blg2011motherOF2 as in the number at yahoo.com. You can also find me on facebook.com facebook.com/author Brittany Gunderson. That's spelled facebook.com/AUTHOR BRITTANYGUNDERSON. You can also find me on Twitter. Twitter.com/BLGMOMOF2 like the number. So I look forward to speaking with you. I look forward to working with you, offering you advice as I learn it. I promise you I will do another video that just has the self-esteem checklist, so you can refer to that and not have to learn all about self-esteem. But I do highly recommend that if you haven't already learned this stuff or haven't taken time to listen to this stuff, then go ahead and do that. So until next time, see you later.